Hey guys, Jakob here, and today actually I want to try a new format. This is kind of a series of videos where I share my personal stories from running the software agency. And actually I just want to also see how do you feel about it. If you like this kind of the video, there won't be like a lot of editing here. It's just me sitting and talking some of the lessons and histories from 5 past years. And today I want to tell you about the first, let's say, big project that we've landed, that we closed. That was a $300 project, and we actually closed it after around 1.5 years of running a software agency. So that was still relatively new, and that was a huge for us because back in those days, I think that on average we maybe were closing like 20K projects, 50K projects. They were like really big projects. So $300,000 project for us back then. That was insane. Not gonna lie, we kind of fake it till we made it when it comes to getting to close it. But yeah, eventually we did it. We successfully delivered it. It was quite a hassle. So let me tell you how it actually happened. Let's maybe jump to the first part, tell you about the situation where we've been. So it was around 1.5 years of running software agency. We already had the LLC set up. We had first few employees full-time. Also a CTO just joined to us. So we just had a CTO, Jakob. He's still with us today. I was still living in Berlin. We didn't have office. Yeah, when it comes to overall the situation, like processes, they didn't existed. Lead gen, it really sucked. Sales process, super bad at that point. I think the only leads we were getting was from recommendations and maybe something from YouTube. That was a time I think that I already recorded the SPA video. So we had some first Amazon leads, but not that many. And we are just doing kind of everything everywhere. I've already mentioned it multiple times on the videos that we were trying to find a niche, but we didn't have one back then. I think a lot of the leads that we got were also from collaboration with other agencies. But yeah, this particular one, it just came out of nowhere just because I've shared on the Instagram and a lot of other places like University Slack, Facebook, and I was just telling everyone, also all of my friends, that I'm running the agency. So this lead actually came because one of my friends got to know that I'm running the dev shop and I'm building custom projects. And his boss pretty much were looking for a development partner that could help and build that. And back then we also didn't know it will be such a huge project. We just knew that, okay, there's a project and I should talk to this company. So that's what I did. And that's how we usually were doing it. Yeah, I can only tell you because I also want to, while telling you the story, give you, let's say, tips and tricks and recommendations so you can also get something of this video, not only the actual story. You should actually double down, especially in your first stages. So if you're freelancing or if you're already having the agency, you should literally let everyone know that you are doing it, right? Your friends, your family, all of the social media, just pretty much everywhere you are active, right? Like just be present and let everyone know that actually you're doing what you are offering, right? So in our case, that was custom software agency. How did it happen is first I got to the call with this company. They showed me the brief of what they wanted. That was a really huge piece of software from what I realized, kind of like a system that manages the company. Like it was the system where they could document everything they do. They could assign people to various tasks. They could automate a lot of processes, keep the documentation. I would say pretty much something that already right now exists that you could do via Notion or ClickUp or other systems like that. Although it was very domain specific. So even though you could technically build something like this in Notion, it wouldn't be that good because there was like a lot of very specific automation scripts that you had to do. So that was not the case. Like they actually needed the custom software solution. I went through this document with our CTO. We've actually started discussion and we realized that, hey, this is a huge project. And also this brief document that's not enough for us to really make the offer. It was not the first like the workshop that we offered, but that was one of the first paid workshops that we offered. I remember we sold the workshop. I flew to the company for 2 days. I've been doing a lot of interviews, checking their processes, checking what they were using back in that time and actually asking them for the requirements. A funny thing is that this is also like a nice tip that I got for you is that even though a client wants something in the initial scope, initial requirements, if you start ask them questions, they want more and more and more, which is good and the bad at the same place. Because in one place, if you're offering some systems that you can build a client, you should really focus on MVP and really deliver it first and then extend it. start from there. This is something that we've learned actually after 5 years of selling, let's say, 2 big projects that we can handle. Not that we can handle, because we always can handle. However, every time we agreed on build this huge project with a lot of requirements from the beginning, we couldn't really deliver in a budget and in time. So that's something that we've learned anyway. That was our mistake. We really didn't know that, so we just agreed on everything. We did this successful workshop, great business experience that I can highly recommend you to do. During the workshop, I remember that they asked me actually about the price of this project, and I just knew it would be huge, right? And I just throw a random number. I think I said something about 250 or 300K. Like this, and I almost shit my pants. I remember that was super hard for me to do so, but I had to pretty much at least pretend to be extreme confident, because otherwise they would never just go with that, right? Like, this is something that I can definitely tell you, that no one really cares if you have experience, if you don't have experience. The competition is huge. Even though you're starting out, you really have to work as you already have the big successful company with process, with developers and so on. And even though if you don't, you should definitely figure it out on the way, right? So it's not like I told them that, hey, we have 20 or 30 developers ready. No, this is not the case, because in that case I would lie them, which wouldn't be good, would be actually terrible. But it's just that I kind of told them where we at, plus I've added, let's say, 30%. Because I was also very confident that actually if we are doing a great job as we were doing it, we'll get to this point very fast. So I was very confident about that. I told them that we were working on similar projects, smaller but similar. I pretty much told them that yes, we work on the similar tickets. However, we've never really sold anything that big from the beginning, right? From the offer perspective. So the workshop was definitely needed. It really helped us scope everything. And I remember our developers were fully booked. We had to tell them that, okay, we can definitely start this project, but we need some time, right? So after the workshop, we've prepared like a final proper offer, super long, I think around 30 or 40 pages with technical documentation of the project's features. This document pretty much served as a source of truth. On top of it, very professional contract with the lawyer. We hired a lawyer to help us scope this project, because it was a really big deal for us. And I remember for this project, I planned to put 2 of our best engineers, and immediately I started to search for 2 more developers, pretty much substitute the projects that we were currently working on, right? So this transition was also very smooth. So for this new project, we had to be sure that we put the best team that we have. So we put those 2 best developers, and at the same time, and those projects that we were already handling and working on, we've hired new developers, we trained them, and then we did the substitution. So that's something that is also very important, that if you actually manage to close big projects, new projects, you shouldn't put the fresh developers there, because they just don't have this experience working into your company. They don't know your processes, even though our process really sucked, but like, we knew how to build projects from day one. I mean, this is my, let's say, career as a software developer. I've worked as a software developer. When I started, I was actually the one building the projects. So that's something that actually I knew, and also like my team knew how to do that. But I'm just saying overall that still, you should never let a newest developers jump directly to the newest project for your clients. And how we did win in the end is, first of all, like, our offer was really a killer. We gave them a great experience over the first initial calls, during the workshop, after the workshop, and then with the actual offer. It was beautiful. It was very detailed, and still I'm pretty much confident that it was much cheaper than competitors. We are actually competing with very expensive software agencies. So pretty much, yeah, we won on all of the fronts, and we are also very fast. That's also what counts. Like, I would say speed is very important when it comes to winning projects. Then when it comes to delivery, we took our best developers. So we were 100% sure that we can actually deliver it. We hired new developers to substitute the old ones for other projects that we already had in the company. And I think that the biggest lesson that I can share with you is that you should never really let the fear of not being ready stop you from the execution. Sometimes you really need to take the deal, and then you should have this mindset of like, okay, I'll take it, I'll deal with it, and then I'll figure it out how to do that. With this mindset, we actually managed to be where we are currently. It is a lot of risk, it is a lot of responsibility, but sometimes this is what you need to do. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, the competition is very brutal. You really need to be ready to take those risks. Just in the end, I want to say that if you actually are a freelancer, or if you're building the agency, you want to become the agency owner, no matter if it's AI automation agency, software development agency, agency, no code, low code, design. We actually are running our own community of agency owners called Agency Dudes. And if you want to join, it's actually free. You can go to the description, click the link. And yeah, overall guys, let me know what do you think about this kind of videos, because I have a lot of different histories from the last 5 years that I want to share with you. However, yeah, this is kind of a freestyle, and I just super wonder if there's a value in those, right? If you actually get something out of those, let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one.